fellas, how in the hell are we doing here today? In case you have dementia and you can't tell where you are right now, you are here at Lunar's Fantasy Football Extravaganza. Alright? We're getting better at the little... We understand the space we're in a little bit more, alright? So yeah, here we are. Nice to be here. Good to see you. Like I said in the last video, these are a little bit too long, alright? I don't know how they're ending up this long, but we're going to try to cut them down without wasting any more time. Let's just jump straight into what happened week 9. Oh, man. All right. So, in case you didn't watch my press conference I posted, we lost week 9. We knew going into this week that it was looking a little shaky. Sleeper even had us down in the projections. And what do you know? We just came up a little short. We lost by 6 points to be exact, and I just want to say that this was definitely winnable, all right? If we go down the list here, I'm instantly going to A.J. Brown, all right? A.J. Brown dropped me 5 points in their game against Jacksonville, one of the worst teams in the league. If bro would have gave me at least 11, we would have won. Like, if he just would have caught a couple more balls, maybe a touch, if he just would have gotten a single touchdown, we would have won this week, all right? It's definitely his fault. But also in some other positions, we definitely came up short. I'm pretty sure in my video last week, I was saying I was going to start Bowers and Otten, but last second, I ended up switching Otten out for D Swift, and that was not the right play. All right. I thought Swift had a really favorable matchup going against Arizona. They're one of the worst run defenses, so I thought he was going to maybe drop me at least 20 points. Nope, only 14. And then if we go down to Otten, 21 points. So if we would have started Otten over Swift, and we still would have been fine with Brown shit in the bed, all right? I don't know why we second-guessed ourselves and went against the original plan. I knew Otten was going to do good. I just thought Swift maybe would have done a little bit better, and it shot me in the foot. So yeah, that's our week 9 in a nutshell. I mean, Brown and the D Swift move really hurt us. If we wouldn't have made this switch, we would have been all right. If A.J. Brown wouldn't have gotten hurt and left mid-game, and only dropped 2 catches for 36 yards. I mean, just not good situations going on over here, all right? I'm hurting myself, but also the boys are hurting me. You definitely don't like to see it. All right, moving past the Week 9 loss, taking a look at our team now, we have made a couple adjustments here. Kirby's Angels is now running back university, all right? We have 5 running backs on this team. Derrick Henry, Tyrone Tracy, Breece Hall, Joe Mixon, and Chuba Hubbard. Since our last video, I made a trade with someone else in the league for Breece Hall and Deebo Samuel, and I gave him DeAndre Swift and George Kittle. And then also, I just ended up picking up Hubbard and Tracy because they're both playing each other this week, and I think one of them is going to go crazy. All right, I don't know who yet, but I think one of them is good for maybe 25 plus points, 20-25. Both teams are terrible defense-wise, but both these running backs are really solid. So I'm expecting big things out of that. Also, we picked up the young buck, Young Hoku again. All right, we dropped Fairbairn because I forgot why. I think he just didn't have a good favorable matchup this week. So we picked up Koo because he's going up against the Saints. I feel like Koo's just going to do a little bit better, hopefully. And with that being said, this now brings us into our Week 10 match. All right, as you can see, we're a little bit late on this video here. All right, I've already had one of my players play because it is Friday, and Thursday Night Football happened. In case you didn't watch Thursday Night Football, the Bengals and the Ravens played, and Henry didn't really do that good. Before that game, I was starting 3 running backs. I was going to start Henry, Mixon, and Breece Hall, and I was just debating. I'm like, one of them isn't going to do as good as I'm thinking. All right, I need to swap out one of them for Tracy or Hubbard because I think they're going to do really well. And what do you know? Turns out the godfather of running backs, Derrick Henry, is the one that let us down, all right? He dropped a 14-pointer, and we were hoping for at least a 20 or something. I know he didn't do as good in that last game against the Bengals. He only dropped like 16 points, but I was expecting a little bit more, all right? I thought he'd get a bit more use out of this game. Not the case. So yeah, long story short, Henry's already played. I should have sat Henry, but that's hindsight now. You know what I'm saying? How are you supposed to know that stuff back then in the past? But here we are. We have had a player play. Everybody else is going on Sunday. And right now, looking at the sleeper projections, we are also down this week. All right. That hurts. We're riding on 2 back-to-back losses. If we get a third, I might shut this whole thing down. All right. I might delete this app. What's twisting me up even more about this week is I think I can win this. All right. I think I definitely have the better roster. counting our players on the bench. I just have to figure out who to play to make it happen. So let's just run down our situations here. Right off the bat, quarterback, we're starting Baker Mayfield. Instantaneous lock, all right? He didn't do as good last week as we thought he would. He only dropped 18, but that's still, I mean, it's not the worst QB performance, all right? And he was playing KC in the rain, home field advantage, all right? I mean, give my boy some slack. This week he's going up against San Francisco, and San Francisco is really good too. But there have been quarterbacks already this season that have put up a considerable amount of points against them, so I'm feeling confident Mayfield can get something going here. He's got Josh Allen playing, and Josh Allen is top 5, one of the best QBs in the league. He's always one of the best fantasy draft picks, so that dude's definitely going to pop off. But something interesting, though, about this game, it's a home game for the Colts, and the Buffalo Bills haven't beat the Colts at home since, like, the 1990s or something crazy. All right, I don't know where I saw that stat. It was on some sort of fantasy website or social media, but that's honestly pretty crazy. Maybe Allen goes in here and doesn't have as good a time as sleepers hoping, you know? They got him at 22 points. Maybe we can knock him down. Maybe he has an 18 game. Who knows? We'll just see what's going on. That little stigma also doesn't have anything to do with this year's team. You know, this is a completely different team, different people on offense and defense, both sides of the ball. I think the Buffalo Bills look a lot better than the Colts too this year, so you really don't know. We'll just have to see. I know I've been doing my own projections for scores for everybody in the past couple videos, but I'm just not going to do that anymore, all right? I'll give like a overall estimate score. It's hard to even call this stuff, and I go way over proportion every time, all right? I've got good players, and they've got 20-point potential, so I just expect them to go out there and drop 20 points a game every time. But that's not realistic, so we're not going to do that. So we'll give you a full score at the end, but let's get back into our running back situation. So like I was saying earlier, this is where we've got a bunch of problems, all right? I wish we could have sat Henry, but now we're in the mix where I want to start 2 other running backs, and we've got 4 other options here, all right? So going over them, Tyrone Tracy and Chuba Hubbard both playing each other, and their defenses aren't the best. I think they're going to have very high-scoring games. And then we also have Breece Hall and Joe Mixon going up against Detroit. Breece Hall's playing Arizona. Joe Mixon is going up against Detroit. Now, Breece Hall, like I said earlier about Swift, Arizona isn't one of the best defenses against the run game, all right? They're kind of terrible, but Swift had a bad game. Do I think Breece Hall is going to have a bad game, though? I don't know. I think Breece Hall might go on there and get it done. You know what I'm saying? But if we look at Joe Mixon, all right, he's playing the Detroit Lions. There's been a few select running backs that have scored a considerable amount of points on the Lions, but could Joe Mixon do that? Man, I don't know. I think the Mixon situation is going to be situational to if Nico Collins starts this week or not. All right? If Nico Collins starts this week, Mixon isn't going to be getting as much action. But if Nico Collins doesn't start, then they're still going to need Mixon a lot. That's kind of how I'm thinking about this now, too. At this point, if Nico Collins is a start, then Mixon is out. But if he isn't, then I'm going to probably put Mixon in. So with that being said, too, I think Mixon is our interchangeable piece for the Tracy and Hubbard situation. If somebody's got to go out, it's going to be Mixon. And if somebody has to go in between Hubbard and Tracy, I think it might be Tracy. Chuba Hubbard's been an angel for a minute, all right? We let him go for a week, and then we picked him back up, but that boy's got some serious power in him, and he's really good. But the only thing holding me back from starting him is that the Carolina defense is just terrible, all right? I think Tracy's just going to have an easier time against that defense. So if I did have to start one of them, probably Tracy. Switching over to his side, he has Achane and Harris. I'm not going to lie, I don't really know enough about these guys' team situation to really speak about what's going on. But I will say Achane has been doing a lot better ever since Tua got back. And Najee Harris just kind of seems mid, not going to lie. He seems like a RB2. He's not, I think he's been good in the past, but this year he hasn't really been doing a whole lot. And the Rams and Commanders are pretty solid run defenses. I think if anyone's going to shit the bed, it's going to be Harris. And Achane might do better than his projection, but I don't think it'd necessarily be by a lot. All right. I think he might be getting 20. I know I said I'm not getting into the score, but he's probably going to do a little bit better than projected. Compared to what we have here, I'm hoping that Harris just doesn't get above 14, and I'm hoping Tracy just has a better day than Achane, all right? Because I know these like scores or like these projections are a little bit off, all right? They think Achane's going to have a way better day, but I got faith in the boy Tracy. I think he can do big things out there. Moving on down to the wide receivers, A.J. Brown really like sorely hurt this team last week. He got hurt, went out early, but he's apparently back this week So I'm hoping for a big bounce back out of him. I'm hoping Jalen Hurts can give him some love. All right, give him a bunch of balls. Let that boy shine. Have a good game. Please. Please, A.J. Brown, don't be hurt. Please have a good game, please. So he's pretty much an instant lock. I'm expecting him to at least do better than he did last week. And then this other spot is kind of up in the air. We have Nico Collins on the bench. If he's playing this week, he's going in. But if he's not, then we're going to start Deebo Samuel. We have Deebo Samuel in there right now because Nico Collins is still up in the air. Deebo Samuel has also been kind of hurt the past couple weeks, but I think he's getting off that now. I'm just hoping he's good to go, because if he's not and Nico's not, then we got like problems over here. All right, we're gonna have serious problems. But with the idea at least that one of them's gonna be okay, I'm feeling pretty good. All right, I like our 3-stack lineup we got going on. And then switching over to his side, he's gonna be starting Puka and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, out of these two, I think Amon-Ra might have a better day against the Houston defense than Puka will against Miami, but both of them are solid wide receiver ones on pretty solid teams with solid quarterbacks, so I'm scared of both of them, all right? I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what's going on, but I just hope our boys do better, all right? I don't know if you guys saw on Thursday, Jamar Chase pulling like a 50-point game, you know what I'm saying? If Nico Collins comes back, he could do that, all right? If Nico Collins comes back this week, that boy could drop us 50, all right? That's the copium feeding my brain right now. I need a win so bad this week. I just need Nico Collins to come in and give me 50. Man, I honestly think it's pretty even, not going to lie. We both got really solid receivers, but looking at matchups, I think I might have better matchups. So hopefully that plays into our favor and our boys do a little bit better. Jumping on down to tight ends, this is going to be like the first week we're not starting Bowers and tight end because he's got a bye week. We're going to be throwing in our boy Otten here. He's going to be helping our boy Mayfield beat the San Francisco 49ers. And ever since the top receivers for the Buccaneers went out, Otten's just been that guy, all right? He's going to be getting, I swear he's good for at least 1, maybe 2 touchdowns this game. I'm not going to get into the points and calling all that, but he's going to be getting a lot of receptions, at least a touchdown or 2, and he's going to have himself a game. Moving on to McBride, this guy's also been pretty solid, but he's not like the only target they really have out there. You know what I'm saying? Arizona still has a lot more options that they can go to, including Marvin Harrison. They're like really good receiver. So I don't think he'll be getting as much action that Otten will be getting. Otten is a more pivotal part of the Buccaneers offense than McBride is. So I'm just really pulling for Otten to have more points. Jumping on down to our flex, like I already said, we're going to be starting Breece Hall. He's playing Arizona. I think they're terrible against the run game. I know Swift had sort of a bad game last week, but I don't think that'll be a problem for Hall. And Hall also gets a lot of check down passes. Hall is somebody that gets a lot of free receptions, like at least 2, 3, maybe potentially like 5 a game. And those are easy points, all right? Runs after the catch and just single points each time he catches the ball. That's huge. That boy's going to be doing some work in that game, without a doubt. And then he's going to be starting Justin Jefferson. I'm not going to lie. I'm just giving this to him right off the bat, all right? Justin Jefferson playing Jacksonville. He's in the role that A.J. Brown should have been in last week, all right? I was expecting 20-plus points out of A.J. Brown. Wasn't able to get it. Justin Jefferson is also a guy in that same position who has that potential, all right? I think he is going to just absolutely go off. And no matter what Hall does, I think Jefferson's just going to have a better game because receivers typically have more points than running backs when they have better games. I still think Hall is going to put up a considerable amount of points, but it's hard not to give this to Jefferson, all right? I think Jefferson's got this one easily locked up in the bag. Moving on down to kickers, like I said, we dropped Fairbairn because I think Koo just has a better matchup this week with the Saints. Last time he played the Saints, he dropped a cool 20 points, one of the best kicking games we've seen all season, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully we see that same sort of greatness out of him this time around. And then he's going to be starting Tyler Bass. Not going to lie, I don't really know a whole lot about this guy. I'm sure he's all right, but if we got my boy Young-Ho Koo going off like he did that last time they played the Saints, then that's going to be really good for us. Something that does kind of hurt is that the Saints are a bit beat up on defense right now, which might give the Falcons an easier time to score actual touchdowns and not need field goals. But we'll just see how it plays out, all right? We don't need 20, but like a cool 10 maybe? Can we get 10 out of you, Koo? I'd like that. And last but not least, we got our defenses here. Minnesota is still one of the best defenses in the league, and they're going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are, like we've always said this entire series, not that good, all right? Trevor Lawrence throws interceptions. He gets sacked. They don't put up a whole lot of points. So I'm expecting greatness out of this defense, all right? Let's get a bunch of sacks. Let's get some interceptions, maybe a pick six, you know what I'm saying? Let's keep them down to a minimal score. I'd like that. Let's see how it goes. I think they ran the score up on the Eagles last week in like the fourth quarter or something, but the Eagles still finished with a solid defensive fantasy score. They still finished that game with like 9 or 11 points. So even if they do end up scoring some points, I'm just hoping for some like big defensive plays. Let's get some sacks going. Let's get some fumbles, something. And then he is going to be starting the Steelers, playing the Washington Commanders. Now, I know the Steelers are also a pretty solid defense, but the Commanders are also no pushover, all right? Jaden Daniels is having himself an insane rookie season, and that offense is firing on all cylinders. They've been scoring multiple touchdowns a game. I think they're going to run the score up on the Steelers, and hopefully that just knocks down that defensive score. Looking at these two matchups, I think Washington will score more points in this game than Jacksonville will in this. But I think this will mainly come down to the defensive plays still. All right, let's see some big sacks, big tackles, big fumble, interception, all that fun stuff. So that is going to be our Week 10 matchup. We've gone over everything. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not feeling the most confident about this, and Derrick Henry didn't help that at all either, all right? We're sitting at only a 41% chance to win. The score isn't looking the best, but anything can happen here, all right? I do think I have a better team here. I just have to figure out who's going to go out there and get me the most points. Both times last week when we lost, we still had the better team, all right? We're just mismanaging these guys. We're sitting the wrong players and starting the wrong players. If we can just figure that out, we can just hone that in, then we'll be doing great, all right? All these guys are frying. We just got to figure out who's going to fry when we need them to. If I had to just predict this score here, I'm not going to predict a dub for myself because that screwed me over the past 2 times, all right? And I honestly don't feel confident in the sleeper numbers we're seeing either. If it has him at a 128, I think he'll go a little bit over that. I think he might get 135, and we might come up short with like 120. All right, well, let's just say that. It hurts counting myself out like this, but the Angels have just been terrible. All right, it's hard to rely on them. It's hard to count on them. All right, I don't feel that good about them anymore, and that sucks to say. But we'll just have to see how things play out. All right, that's Week 10. It's almost Sunday. It's already Friday now. I mean, geez. Sorry this video came out so late, but thank you for sticking around, seeing what we got going on in the league. If I lose again, there will be problems. And I probably will post another press conference about it, all right? I'm planning on doing those press conferences anytime I lose, because I just like screaming at the camera when I lose. But yeah, that's about it now, everybody. Thank you for watching. I'll give you a little wave. Bye. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more content like this, because I would really appreciate that. And if you don't know, it's free. You know what I'm saying? It don't cost any money on YouTube to like and subscribe. It's free 99. All you got to do is do it. Here, I'll wait. I'll wait while you do it real quick. It's like right. No, over. Yeah, right there. Hey, yes, that's my dog right there. I knew you were cool. All right. Yeah, that's it, fellas. Take it easy. Thanks for listening in. This has been Lunar, and welcome to Bound.